Oops. Good morning, Cancer. How are you doing? We have so many cards this morning that I actually dropped a couple there as I was getting ready. This has been a busy day, and I think that I have gotten more channeled messages for your sign than ever for any sign in the past like 6 or 7 years. So we have a lot to go through today. It's really positive, but there's just a lot moving through your sign in particular today. So you showed up for a great reading. It's going to be important messages. A lot of these are going to resonate right here and right now, even though I read for 1 month in advance. So it's March, but I'm reading for April. So thank you for showing up. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this can be used, by the way, for your sun, rising, moon, and also for other aspects of your chart. Because I'm a psychic intuitive, and a medium and a channeler, I also just receive messages for anyone that's in the room. So you may show up today and not even be the sign of Cancer and receive some messages as well. So welcome, no matter who you are, old or new, it's so good to see you. Apollo just got a new haircut, so I thought I would bring him up here to say hello. Let me talk a little bit about the format today. The reading is always structured in like 4 major parts. I begin with the psychic information that I was just talking about, and then I move along to take a look at the cards. I'll be using one of my new decks today. I'm going to try to use it twice this month. It's the Tarot of the New Prince, or the Little Prince rather. Really great deck, and I think you'll enjoy it. So anyway, we'll start with psychic messages. We'll go into the Celtic Cross. I know, Paul. Then we'll take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny in the expanded forecast. And after that, we'll go a little deeper into the soul path. So if 1 or 2 things really stick out as something that we need to focus on, I'll go deeper in that latter portion. Then we'll meditate and bring everything together. And a lot of times I pull an extra card at the end, like a question that you might have that you're holding in your mind. And it's kind of my equivalent of a pick a card, but I don't answer questions live. It's a nice segue into that. This is a general reading with a lot of information that probably will be very specific to you. So just stick around, and thanks for joining me. I'm going to put down Apollo so we can get started here. And so good to see you guys. I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking about you all week, clearly. Let me just post the message here from Dakota. If you want any information about my schedule or information about how to get in touch with me or anything like that, you can go to my website. I just pinned the link there. And just a quick note before I get started that if you would like to show support during the reading, Super Chat's a great way to do it. And there's a little icon that looks like a $ that's next to the emojis. And you can click this during the live reading. And if you happen to be watching it on replay, you can use the applaud button, which is right by the share and like buttons. I don't answer questions live, but stick around. Like I said, you're going to get a lot of specific information. And if you haven't already done so, hit the like and subscribe and opt into notifications. I come on YouTube at least 13 times a month, sometimes more. And that's a great way to know if I do some sort of a special appearance here. Okay, let's get started. I didn't grab my iPad today because there's too many messages and I just need to kind of sort through them. So as we talk about the totem, you actually got a couple of totems, and then I'm going to get into the main messages here. So just so you can see, like, there's actually more, there's more messages than I have table space for. So I'm going to do my best to kind of move through them and keep everything moving. All right. So the first totem that I saw, actually, it wasn't a whale, it was a shark, because I saw the teeth on it. So I'm going to do a live edit of that. And it was kind of like the, what's that cat from like Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire, whatever cat. It was a big grin. All I saw were the teeth initially. So your spirit totem is a shark, and it was a friendly shark. When I was looking at the shark, I was at the bottom of the sea, and I felt kind of like, how am I going to get out of this situation? I saw these big teeth, and it said hop on my back, and it lifted me up to the top of the water. So the water is a representation of for some of us, the emotional tumults that we've been through over the past year. It could be a feeling of sometimes getting in the way of yourself, feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this? What's going on? So the shark was coming there to kind of lift you up. It's also, to me, the king of the sea, right? Either a shark or a whale, but in this case, the shark, it's kind of like the lion or whatever, king of the jungle. You don't want to mess with it. It's a hunter, it holds its space, and it's a good power symbol for Cancer. When I see something like that, I just think of King of Cups. I think of the highest possible card in your suit, for instance. So this is your month to really hold court and get into a powerful position if you haven't been, or to move up emotionally if you felt like you were kind of down. Also, speed and movement. When I think of sharks, they have to keep moving. They kind of never really sleep. They're always moving. And so one thing this month is to focus on not letting that momentum fade, right? So the other thing here, when I'm thinking of a shark, because there's some other cards that came through in my meditation, I want you to be really picky, inquisitive, and don't be afraid to get to the bottom of things when it comes to contracts, because I think of like people that are trying to create a deal. You wouldn't kind of associate a shark with a good deal. So I would say in that particular situation, make sure that you're paying attention to all of the fine print and you're inquisitive and asking the questions that you need to. The next thing here is that, because I saw the teeth of the shark first and foremost, is that your words carry a great weight. Choose them wisely and realize that even a passing remark can stick with someone quite a bit. And I think this is more true of any sort of sarcastic remarks that you might be making, or if it's just what you think is constructive, be even more constructive and kinder than usual, because there could be a critical edge to what you're saying that is sharper than you might imagine. So just be kind, be careful, and understand that when you're speaking, it carries great weight. If you're dealing with someone else and they said something that hurts your feelings, also try to kind of pull the emotional piece out and go back to thinking, well, maybe they were just trying to help. And you can always communicate to them, say, I appreciate the feedback. It kind of came across a little harsh, and I just want to understand how or why that happened. They may not be aware of it. They may not have the filter up and understand that what they said hurt your feelings. So intent and tone are really important. The second thing that was interesting is, as I came up out of the water, I saw what looked like little mushroom caps there. And so you have like a second totem, if you will, and that's the mushrooms. And I think of those as a sign of rebirth, because really it's kind of the decay of something else that creates the mushroom kind of coming up. So that's one thing. I also see it as stagnation. And to kind of like piggyback on that and get back to the fish metaphor, which is your main totem, some of you might be like a big fish in a little pond. You might have outgrown a relationship, a job, or a situation in your life. And this combination here, the shark lifting you up, saying, go higher, and you getting out of that, but still seeing, wow, it was a little bit more, there was more stagnation there. I was more stuck than I thought. So that's your spirit message coming through with like a totem or a nature symbol. The next thing that I saw was much more practical. Spirit showed me a checkbook with, it was a blank check, and I was given the question, what do you need? And as many of you might feel like, if you're getting a blank check from a loved one, like an aunt or a mom or a father or whatever, you don't want to, it's like, oh, no, you don't have to do that. But I got an insistent tone from the spirit guide saying, ask what you need. What do you need? So I was humble at first, and I'm like, oh, whatever, this small amount. And it shook its head and it said, no, go higher. And I did that, and it said, better, but still think bigger. And I was just handed a blank check it didn't write the amount that I said, because it didn't accept it. It was like, you need to go higher. You need to think higher. This is a reminder that thoughts are so powerful. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about the limiting thoughts sometimes being the most detrimental thing. So I want you to think expansively. And one of the things that you can do with manifestation is to add in a little something at the end. It's a magical piece. So what you want to think about is, all of this or more, surprise me. So when I try to manifest something, I like to let God, the universe, my guides, etc., the powers that be know, this is what I have in mind, but I'm open to be surprised for something better. So all of this or more is a simple way to do it. Help me manifest all of this or better or higher or more. That or more or higher or better piece at the end, that's like, you'll win lotto sometimes when you do that. So just imagine that you could have something bigger than your dream is. Because if you limit yourself, if you're too humble, if you're too shy in what you're trying to accomplish, you may be limiting yourself of getting to that next level, right? So again, the blank check metaphor coming in. The question for you is, what are you looking for? Think big when you're thinking about what this is. Don't limit because you're shy, because you were taught that you shouldn't be able to do this, or because there's some sort of discomfort with abundance. This is not the case. You're going to hold yourself back from being able to reach more people, do more things, etc. I used to call this a stretch goal when I was a manager coaching people that were under me. I would say, allow yourself to be pleasantly surprised. Go for at least one stretch goal. When I was putting together sort of like a performance plan for people, I would always want 2 accomplishable goals, something that you knew you could do, and then one that was going to be a reach or a stretch goal. And you wouldn't be as picky with that one because you knew the person was going to push themselves. But if they made any progress on it, it would be fantastic. So we should do the same for ourselves. Even if we're not, if we're retired or working for ourselves like I am or whatever, you should always be thinking, that's the next thing. I really want to do that. I'm going to do whatever I can this year or next year to make that happen. The next 3 things that I was shown in combination with this check were cards, tarot cards. So I woke up as I was looking at the cards because I was like, wait, what are cards doing in addition to this? And I didn't know the deck, and I was getting too curious, and it brought me out of my dream. The cards were the Magician, the Ace of Cups, and the Devil. Very, very different cards. The Magician energy reminds you that you are capable of manifesting, and you can also wear many hats. The Magician has every single suit in front of him or her, and basically it can basically do whatever it wants to do. It's sort of like the chemist, or that's why it's called the Magician. Really, anything is possible. The problem with the Magician sometimes is focus. So the message coming through with the Magician was to focus on what really matters and program or reprogram your thoughts and intentions accordingly. I couldn't fit accordingly on there, but that's the other word. So focus on what it is you want to do and tune out the other stuff. And remember that the thought becomes a reality. So if you think I can't, you won't. If you think I can, you might. Better to go for the can and the possibility of doing it than the won't, which is a guarantee of failure. Isn't it interesting how if you think I can't or I won't, 100% of the time you'll fail. 100%. If you think I can or I wish I want to do it, I'm going to try to do it, we'll see what happens, you have no idea. You probably could do it. But there's a chance now. So I would take the chance over a guaranteed failure. So if you immediately discount it, you failed. If you try it, you might succeed. And if you keep trying it, you'll eventually succeed because it's persistence and stubbornness. It's going to win out at the end. So just keep pushing, right? All right, next piece, Ace of Cups. Love, abundance, creative flow. Everybody always wants to know about love, definitely part of this. But the abundance piece is what I'm focusing on because I saw the blank check, I saw the Magician, and I think this is your ability to now connect with that abundance. One of the ways that you can do that is by staying open-hearted. Not just open-minded, but open your heart up to the possibilities. And much like Egyptians, I believe the heart knows before the mind. That's why they kind of cherish this over the gray matter in our heads. So, seed of knowledge and understanding is right here. Love goes with us. It's the universal currency. It's the real currency that matters. So if you feel it, do it. If you don't feel it, don't. And you really need to connect with the heart space a lot this month, right? So let me look here. I'm seeing someone kind of arguing about the Magician being an architect, not an engineer. I would say the Magician is whatever it wants to be. I'm gonna correct you on that. The Magician is really limitless. So don't try to put the Magician in a box, even in the comments here. It's alchemic. It can do anything it wants. It has all the tools there. It's anything it wants to be, and that's a limiting idea and a limiting thought. So that's exactly, I'm glad you brought it up. That's part of this, is don't limit yourself and don't try to put things in a box. The Magician is limitless. Full stop. All right. The Devil represents limiting thoughts. Perfect segue. Limiting thoughts, fears, contracts that are not good. You really want to be discerning, and you want to look at the little things and even go back into feeling like there has to be something in a certain way or shape or form, right? So there we go with that. The Devil also can be something where timing is off, especially when we're looking at love relationships. So if timing is off, don't force it. This should be something that's just easy, unconditional, and that you can kind of flow into. If that person isn't ready for you, or if they're otherwise engaged or focusing on something else, there is something better waiting for you. Even if you feel this amazing connection, let them get their life sorted out first, right? Okay. The next thing, the next sort of set of cards have to do with communication. And the most important message was to sleep. I know this sounds so weird, but it's super important. So get a good night's rest and let others do the same. In the vision that I had, it was sort of like you were waking people up to argue a point or talk about business, or it can also be the reverse. Like once the day is done, I knew this when I used to have my corporate job, you know, your boss would be emailing you at 9 p.m. or something, and you're trying to like finish up dinner or go to bed or whatever. And it's sort of like, can't we just let me be now? Because this is, if I can't relax, I'll come in tomorrow even more anxious and et cetera. So if you're a boss, let people rest. If your boss is bothering you, go to sleep and answer it in the morning. Or if they call you, just say, I can't do this right now. I'm tired. I need some sleep. I would be happy to get up at like 5 a.m. and talk to you then, but I'm worn out. Can we regroup in the morning with a fresh, clean slate? If they say no, then you can work through this project and think, I need to do something else and I need to work with someone else in the long run, because it's going to, it eventually kind of eats up your mental and physical health as well, right? I know that we can't always control the dialogue with the boss, but that is sort of like a hint from the universe that it's not sustainable in the long run. And I think limits are important. You can always just say, not tonight, but how about first thing in the morning? That's not a no, it's a reshifting of priority. I can do a better job in the morning. If you want me to do it now, I'll do it now, but I can do it even better if I get some sleep first. Work can wait till morning, and any key conversation can too. This has to do also with relationships. Let's say you have a partner and something is bothering you. It would be so much better to just let the day end, get a good night's sleep, do it maybe on the weekend, have that conversation when you're both rested, when you're not stressed out and kind of in your worst place energetically. And the sleep can often provide insight, or it will help you temper or soften the energy, because we don't want the big shark teeth that I was seeing. The shark is important, and I like that you can kind of get to the point. It actually has a little bit of King of Swords energy in it, right? Kind of reversed. But I want you to be able to elevate it a bit and be the friendly shark that I was seeing in the meditation. The next thing is really cool, because I haven't really thought about this, but in all of this weird communication, I was getting an apology that wanted to come out, but the way that it was sounding, the timing was off and the person wasn't ready to hear it. So apologizing can be a wonderful and a healing experience. I think we should all be ready to give and receive those at various points in our life, but timing and tone is everything. So if you say an apology, but it's kind of, it has some sort of a weird tone to it, or you're tagging something on, or it's backhanded and you're then saying something, I'm sorry, but it's also your fault, or something, like, it's not going to work. We all want to say it sometimes, but wait until you don't have to caveat it, or it's not sort of like, there's not a tone issue coming through with it. So only say it when you feel it, when you're kind of over it, and just say, gosh, I'm really sorry that things ended the way they did. I don't want it to be that way. That's better. And then open it up and let the person come through. The interesting thing with an apology is there's no obligation that that person has to receive it and accept it. When you give it, it's unconditional. You don't have to give one, and you don't have to receive one. It's magical, though, when the two things happen. When you give it with your heart, and when the other person receives it with an open heart. But it's got to be heart to heart. And until it is, it's not worth doing. You just have to do the internal work, okay? So it's better not to apologize until you're ready than to apologize and have it be lackluster. And I guess a part of this, and what would maybe help some of you that might be dealing with difficulties in communication, whether it could be someone in your life that always seems like they have to get the last word in. Maybe you've had that habit before. Try to walk away from that, because quiet is actually really powerful. If someone says something, you can just say nothing. That's a way of replying, and it also is a way of kind of coming back and saying, all right, if that's how you feel, that's, but you don't have to say that. I was watching something like a meme online where you could see a commentator just looking at someone like, what are you talking about? And I got it. So sometimes that is more powerful than what you said doesn't resonate with me. So consider body language as another form of communication, rather than having to sort of get that word in edgewise. And if the person is always doing that, I would actually bring it up a few days later, talk to them and say, this is a habit that really is difficult for me to deal with. It feels like sometimes when I say something, you can't just say, yeah, I hear what you're saying. There's always like a comeback, or that there has to be something else. So that's something that can be worked on in key relationships. Again, if it's your boss, it's kind of hard. But if it's a loved one or a friend, I feel like there is a way that you can work to a common ground there. The older you get, the less you kind of feel like you want to be around people like that. So the other piece that I put on there is maybe just kind of release people like that in your life, distance yourself, and try to foster relationships with people that are more open and are able to take criticism, are able to listen. That's going to be better in the long run, right? All right, we're almost through this, so stick around here as I get through the last few cards here. I think one of the things that's going to help you be a more powerful communicator is to get to know who you're talking to. So you never know someone's story. That's kind of what I was picking up on when I was thinking about what I was seeing in all the dreams and meditations. You never know what someone's going through. They could have a loss in the family. They could be suffering from a health issue that they're not comfortable talking about. They could be dealing with depression. There's so many things that could be going on. And you always want to start a conversation with sort of temperature check. We're doing that so much now with COVID, but it's sort of like an emotional cosmic check, and just to see where they're at. So if you ask how someone is, the first answer is never going to really be honest. So just say, no, really, I'm curious. How are you today? Is everything all right? It's been a while since we've checked in. Get that question in and see where they're at first before you start to go into whatever the matter is at hand, whether it's like an emotional thing and it's you and a partner and you want to talk about something, or getting to work and you want to get something from someone. Just take a moment to see, hey, how are you doing? What's up? How are you? It's always so much nicer than if you remember, like I remember being at an office and just having someone say, is this finished yet? I would say, hi. I would kind of try to diffuse it a little bit. Hi, let me check on it 1 second. How are you? And I would actually make them feel uncomfortable and laugh a little bit and say, yeah, let me take a look. How's everything going? You seem stressed out. Is everything okay? It's better to not just go straight out and bark a question, to sort of say, hey, how are you doing? You look busy. Is everything okay? I wanted to check up on this project. Do you have some time later today to look at this? That's also a nice nudge, like, hey, I'm looking for this. Have you finished it? So you don't have to always go in right with the direct piece. Check in, dance a little bit, and then get to the point. It's nicer to receive it that way too. Okay. Release judgment, try walking in someone else's shoes. And until you can imagine what life would be like as that person with their situation and their constraints, then you can't judge them for their situation. Honestly, none of us should be judging other people. At the end of our lives, we judge ourselves on our own progress. It's none of my business to judge you, whatever you're doing. So just try to release judgment. That's going to help you focus more on yourself, more on understanding, more on kind of resolving whatever's going on. When you take your time to open your heart and open your mind and be inquisitive, that's when magic happens. That's when, by releasing the judgment and staying open, then you're going to be able to solve things faster. You're actually going to save time by taking that extra couple of minutes to just chit chat with somebody, right? So there you go. The last piece was really interesting. What I saw was, and this, I felt like it was 2 hours of me picking up on things about the cycle that you have. I was seeing what it looked like 3 people in your life, like you plus 2 other people. And it seemed like there was at least 3, maybe 4 karmic lifetimes that you had together. And that in this lifetime, there's a chance to release. So soulmates come through in all shapes and forms. And a lot of times when people are saying, when will I meet my soulmate? The answer is you probably have already met dozens of soulmates. I think people are looking for their partner, their divine partner, and that's kind of different. But a soulmate is someone with karmic baggage or blessings. It can go either way. So if you had really good karma with someone in the past and they come through again, it's just nice. It's fun. It's easy. They end up being like best friends or lovers or maybe a child or a dog or whatever. So you have this great connection because you have this positive history. When you have a difficult kind of battleground sort of history, then it's coming through in that karmic partnership, that soulmate, maybe wreaking havoc in your life because you have to work things out. So what I'm seeing here is the end of a cycle, and it could be easy if you want it to be. One of the things that I wanted to remind you of is that there's no need to be with someone until the end of time. So if you meet someone that you love, I think that a more powerful way of writing a vow is just to love and celebrate or cherish. But there doesn't have to be like until death do us part, for better or for worse, until the end of time. Sometimes we put too many stipulations on it. Isn't it enough to say I love you and I commit to you, full stop? You should be able to understand that all that other stuff is there. I love you. I commit to you. Let's do this together. Not until the end of time, not until death. Just let's do this. And then that's enough. And if it's not enough, some of these other promises can then go from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. So be careful on how you write a vow if you're going to do that. And if you're in business, be careful on how you write a contract. And if you're looking to release this generational or ancestral karmic thing that I'm seeing, do a contract release. We'll do maybe a mini one at the end today, releasing old ties, old relationships, old contracts, and setting the ground for something new. Basically, this lifetime, I would say, try to step out of the old roles and try something where you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play this role with this person. It might be your mom, it might be best friend. You're just like, I'm tired of being the one that is the one that's fighting or the one that's instigating or whatever it is, and just think, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to try something else. We're going to see if this relationship lasts through that, right? Sometimes you meet a soulmate just to resolve stuff and say goodbye. So sometimes they pop into your life and it's just powerful and fast, and then that's it. So I want people to start to reinterpret what soulmate means. It's not the love of your life. Your mom can be your soulmate. Your dog can be your soulmate. Your lover can be your soulmate. And all of these different soulmates are teaching or bringing different lessons or blessings to you. So look at the karmic connections between you and others this lifetime and this month, and figure out, how does it feel? Is this good? Are we vibing, or is it teaching? Am I constantly being triggered, or am I constantly trying to show them something? And whatever that is, reevaluate that and think, is this a role that I want to continue? Because I feel like you could step out of that role this lifetime. We are not bound to forever repeat the same role. So I'm gifting you that sort of realization, is that you could just step away from something. What this does is makes room for higher love. Something bigger, something brighter, something better, back to the blank check from the universe. Ask for something more than this. So this is good, but there might be something much better if you're constantly feeling like it's a struggle or a tug of war, okay? Like I said, that was a lot. I think I got through it in a decent amount of time. A lot of writing, and I barely got here on time today, but it all depends who shows up. We have, decent amount of people here today, and it feels like a lot of these messages were really important for you, right? And I see someone talking about a dog being a soulmate. Likewise, mine's over in the corner. I have a couple beds for him, but definitely, I'm going to do a video for Apollo because his adoption anniversary is coming up. I've had him for about 4 years. So in April, I'll try to do a video for him, and I'll talk about how I kind of brought him into my life and manifested him. But definitely, I believe that pets are a form of a soulmate. They definitely know unconditional love. That's the one thing that I learned from this experience with my dog, is just love. They melt your heart, right? And all they ask for is attention, a walk, and some food. But it's really, they just want to snuggle. He'll come over here when I'm not doing a reading. He knows this is our time, all of us. But when I'm done, or after I do the singing bowl and turn off the camera, he's here with his face and he kind of like nuzzles me. He's like, all right, are we going to hang out now? I've been patient. So dogs are really great for keeping it real and keeping us all sort of like keeping us from getting too serious, right? All right, I'm going to be using a brand new deck today. This is the Little Prince, the Tarot of the Little Prince. I bought this with all of these sort of contributions that you guys give. So thank you so much. It's based on the book as well. Lovely French story. I'll be using this again. I think I'm going to use it on Libra. I was just kind of feeling out which signs it would be right for, and it felt good for those two. Okay, let's see what's coming through for you, Cancer. Just a quick programming note. I'm going to also be doing a collective reading on the 28th of this month. All signs are welcome. Like I said earlier, all signs are really welcome to all of my readings. If you ever need just some support, you can come through and I'll be here. I'll post a link. I don't have it up yet, but I'll make sure that I do something on my website so that you can see that ahead of time. But again, it's the 28th. I think it's, I don't know what date that is. I think it's a Sunday as well, but don't quote me on that. Might be end of the month, might be a Friday. All right, let's take a look here. Okay. So in your catalyst, we have forget-me-nots. I'm going to read it and then I'll show it to you guys. It says, the best things in life are the people that you've loved, the places that you've seen, and the memories that you've made along the way. I agree. The card is reversed. So for some of you, you may be dealing with sort of looking at things through the lens of nostalgia, right? Trying to figure out, is it simply the rose-colored glasses that are kind of making you remember things better than they were? Is there someone that you've lost touch with that you wish that you could reconnect with? The forget-me-nots are reminding you of the importance of that. And also, if we were to look at the things that matter, the real currency in life is the love that we exchange, the experiences that we have. That's what we bring from lifetime to lifetime. It is not money. It is not title. It's not religion. It's not race. None of that stuff matters. It's just window dressings. What really comes through is, how do I feel about you? What did I learn? How do I feel about myself? What have I been able to accomplish and get past in this lifetime? So remember that. And, you know, I didn't get a chance to write this because I was running out of desk space and time, but we are eternal on our soul level and we are limitless on our soul level. In our lifetimes, we have, and in this sort of material body that we occupy, yes, there are certain constraints, there are certain limits, but our soul energy is not. The soul is the blank check, which is just saying no one uses checks anymore. So it's probably a weird metaphor, but it's basically like unlimited. It's like going to the ATM and there's no amount of money that will be the cap. And I feel like our soul is reminding us, keep pushing, keep trying. You can do whatever you want. There's people that are telling you that you can't, but you really can. We have the Five of Pentacles, which is a nice segue into what I was just talking about here at the center. And the Five of Pentacles is often a lack of support from parents, from siblings, from teachers, from people that we would normally tend to love or lean on. And so if you have that feeling that someone in your life, you know, you just can't trust them or they didn't show up the way that they should, it's hard to get back past that sometimes. But when I look at this well here, this reminds me of what I was talking about. So I see someone laughing at the check thing. A different way to look at this is like an unlimited credit or debit card where you have good credit upstairs. So start using it and start leaning on that energy than maybe the person in your life that was going through their own stuff. We don't know their story. And that was one of the things that I was picking up on. They may not have had the support and they may just be reliving part of that experience, okay? So I like that this Five of Pentacles actually shows the coins in the sky. Reach higher, it's there for you. And go in, and also you have this wealth or well of knowledge here that you can pull into or pull out of because of all of your life's experiences. You're the boss. We've got the Queen of Wands right here. I like that she's also focusing on insight there. She's looking through like a telescope. So one of the most important things to continue to be a powerful creator is to always keep your sights set on what your purpose is, looking at something higher and brighter, staying positive. And this is always like the magical queen. They're all magical in their own ways, but she can make things happen when others say she can't. So I quite like this particular queen. We see roses in this deck because that's integral to the story, but normally you would see a sunflower. And it would be in a desert. So what I'm seeing here is you can make it happen. We have the snakes and we have the roses, and the roses are important. We'll be looking at it in a moment here because they are beautiful, like I said, but they do require work. They do have thorns. And what you want to do is find a way to celebrate all of the pieces of yourself, the rose and the thorns, and to try to work through all of those lessons and continue to bloom and continue to flourish. She is sideways on this. So what I would say is look at things from a different perspective, get an outside perspective, and stay open-minded. When she's reversed, sometimes it shows closed-mindedness, but if she's sideways or right side up, I'm seeing that there are different ways to look at this. So don't think that there's just one way. It feels like you're already more open because she wasn't upside down. So I would say just be open and look in places you wouldn't look for a solution. Look to people that you otherwise wouldn't tag for a solution. Some really cool stuff could happen when you do that, okay? We have the Three of Swords here in your deep past, and I think this is one of my favorite Three of Swords because the rose is growing around the swords and through the swords. And yeah, it's lost a few petals and whatnot, but it's still flourishing. And so what I see here, it's kind of like the Seven of Pentacles. It's recovery after a period of difficulty. So the pain, the suffering, the tumults, all the things that have held you back in life also have made you stronger. And it's not going to stop you from blooming or growing. One thing that I like about a rose is it's very persistent. The more you prune it, if you do it on the right nodes, the more it will grow, right? It likes to be beat up a little bit and kind of, cut back, and then all of a sudden that really makes it flourish. So if people in your life have not treated you well, if you've had your heart broken, if you've been disappointed, don't let that stop you from growing, and don't let that stop you from blooming. And that's the message here. Live again, love again, keep your sights set high, and expect that there'll be something much better on the horizon than whatever the past was. There might be a little bit of healing or residual heartache to work through here with this, but I see the healing's already started to happen, okay? So keep focusing on that. This also reminds me of someone who has passed, the way I'm looking at this, because it's almost even at the ground. To me, I get a sense of there may be heartache between you and like a parent or a loved one that is in spirit or on the other side. And it's never too late to make peace with someone who's transitioned to the spirit realm. They hear you. Even if you can't hear them, you can say things, you can resolve the karma, you can continue to talk to them and work it out. And that would be my advice. Do what you need to do to let go and to move on and to forgive. Remember, only when you're ready, but forgiveness is coming through and wanting to happen here at some point. Now we have two of the same suit here, kind of really close together, the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands. So what I'm seeing here for you is there could be a core relationship here. It could be a partner one too, where that other person is just letting you down a little bit or not giving you as much as you're giving them. The Five of Pentacles can be a feeling like you didn't have my back, or you weren't there when I needed you. So the question now is, are you going to work on it, or was that a deal breaker? And I feel like you have to understand if you're in a relationship. As aspects of your own personality, I like these two cards. It's just showing me the ability to basically take, if you want to, this is like very, very boss energy. This one is much more nurturing and much more open. So I think you might have to kind of vacillate between being able to take input and then being able to lead. Good leaders do that anyway, right? So having the King and the Queen of Wands in your sort of spread here is basically saying, all right, there are going to be times this month where listening is just as important as leading. And if I don't listen, then I can't lead. Then I can't decide. Then I can't be as powerful as I want to be. So remember to use your ears as well as your mouth, because I saw the big teeth, but we want to have some big ears too. All right. We have the Six of Pentacles in the crowning position. Wonderful, dreamy version of the Six of Pentacles. This is the necessary card to be successful when it comes to a business or just resources in general. It tells me you have more than enough. You may not have everything you want, but you have more than enough. You have been able to surpass and get over the limits of the Five of Pentacles. You became the dreamer in this one a little bit. I see this person blushing a little bit too, which is cute. But I would say part of this is about daring to dream and then doing what you need to make the dream happen. There are sacrifices that are necessary in the Six of Pentacles and in the Two of Pentacles, but the Six of Pentacles is more manageable. The Two of Pentacles means you really have to choose between two things, or You have to let something go in order to go after one thing. This is just saying, make sure you say no to things you don't want, and make sure you say yes to things that you do want that are good, right? So I think that this is an opening for you to find more abundance. I see you've made a breakthrough, or you're about to make a breakthrough, because I'm reading 1 month in advance. But this is in your crowning card. So this month that I'm reading it in March will give you the ability to start to have the breakthrough and start to see more. When I saw the Ace of Cups, that's overflowing. That's abundance. So the cup can overflow with multiple things. It can be happiness, it can be health, it can be wealth, it can be love. So just be open to all of those things, if you will. All right, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Here's the shark. And basically this is about not being afraid to speak up, not being afraid to get to the details. There could be something where you have reviewed a contract or an old email from someone, and again, they said they were going to do something and they didn't, and now you're going to have to figure out how to deal with it, right? She's sitting on the earth here, it looks like. I would say don't make this like a do or die thing. It's not like the sky is falling. Just get to the point and say, you can reference what happened and then say, I'd like to work with you on this. What are we going to do? So temper it, get to the point, but do remember to meet the person where they're at and make sure that it's a good time to have that conversation. If you're a writer or if you're creative, this is saying you are a channeler this month. Make some time to put your pencil to the paper, your fingers to the keyboard, paintbrush to the palette, whatever. You got what I'm saying. Or dance or whatever. You need to kind of let the stuff come through you as a channel and get out of your mind and body. You'll feel better when you do it. I feel better on days that I read for you, because all this stuff that's been gathering up this week, I'm able to share with you. And then there's this big sense of relief after the reading. So the same is true for all of you. If you have ideas that you need to work on, and it feels like you do, you might have 2 ideas that you're kind of volleying between. You may also be working in a partnership this month. When I look at love and relationships in a second, we'll go a little deeper into that, but that could also be something that's happening, like a work partnership. 3 is a crowd in that case, because I see 2 people on a very similar wavelength, the Queen and King of Wands, and then the Queen of Swords is the one that comes in and likes to kind of poke holes in the equation. So be aware of that. Okay, we have the Temperance card here, and the Temperance card is reversed. So when I associate temperance with springtime, like right around now here in the Northern Hemisphere, but specifically just the month April if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. So that's a personal association that I have, usually based on the flowers. You'll see like different spring bulbs growing on a lot of the decks when you look at that. So what I would say is be patient, because this is your chance to start to see movement and start to see the growth. And now we see them kind of going into the well and being able to, it's almost like a harvesting energy here, being able to go a little bit deeper and pull from past experiences. So be patient, go deeper, and then come up for air. That's what the shark was helping all of us do in the meditation there, kind of coming up, and you're going to be okay. So I think you're going to have to kind of go between. You might be the messenger this month on some things. You might have to be the one that is able to take some sort of a request and go into the trenches and then come back with the result. Like in business, that would be an account manager or project manager, but you'd be putting on that kind of hat in your life, the go-between. Just don't get lost in the go-between zone this month. Make sure that you're speaking up and also getting your own stuff done. We have the Two of Wands here, which is a necessary card for manifestation, but it came through reversed. And, I see that snake and it's not so bad to me. Snakes are power symbols. And a lot of the way that my intuition will work sometimes is I'll get a whisper or I'll get a thought or a feeling, and it comes in a subtle way. So when I'm looking at this, that actually to me is coming across as nature or your guides showing you signs. So I want you to be very aware and awake. And when you start to manifest, be patient, because we have the patience sort of temperance card, and then we have an active manifestation card here with the Two of Wands. So see it, believe it, hold that in your energy, and expect that today could be the day that you start to see progress. That'll step you into the Three of Wands, which is being able to see it. The Two of Wands is about believing it. And you have to believe it so much that you start to manifest it. Also, again, you might be looking at two different things. So the balance, the Six of Pentacles here this month, normally there's scales on this card. There isn't on this one. So you're going to have to balance, which one am I putting more energy into? How am I going to allocate and organize my time? We have the Emperor card here. And very interesting here because we have like a sleepy, it's hard to tell who's the king, right? It's the little prince here, but sometimes we are put in a role where we're not ready for it. And so what we're seeing here is wisdom and youth. And sometimes there could be a young person with an old soul, which is what I get. This card is reversed, by the way. There's a few reversals for you here in the spread. With this, it could be about, are you ready to step up to the plate? Are you ready to take power? Are you ready to take charge? Are you leaning unnecessarily on someone else's thoughts or opinions? Are you actually very qualified, and are other people perhaps not ready to listen to you because of your age? Ageism, whether it's being too young or too old, quote unquote, for somebody's liking. If so, that's too bad. That's their problem. And this is a reminder for you that you're exactly where you need to be right now. All you have to focus on is owning your power, trusting yourself, and stepping into that opportunity, the sort of blank check, if you will, that the universe is giving you. So are you ready? If you are, there's something cool that can develop there. But you have to see the value. So again, for the youngsters that have never dealt with a check, it's like an ATM that has an unlimited balance. You don't know until you put it in the machine sometimes. But imagine seeing like nothing but a bunch of like a one and a bunch of zeros. Just imagine that there was no limit. It's almost overwhelming. But that's what the universe is saying. You've got to tap into your potential. If you're ready to do it, then we're ready to back you up. If you're not, then you might as well just see it as a dollar. You have to work on self-worth. For some of you, it's because someone told you you weren't worth it. So I'm here to say they were wrong. Mom, dad, teacher, friend, self, whoever said you weren't worth it or couldn't do it, stop thinking about that person. Start thinking about what you're going to do. And then we have the Eight of Wands here. This was actually the card that someone in a comment mentioned, oh yeah, there's a communal Eight of Wands in the Little Prince deck. You should get it. So it came through for you. What I like about this one is that, there's a lot of love and support for you. The Eight of Wands is about usually abundance and busyness, but I think that you're also perhaps connecting with others who see and feel the way you do. This is finding your tribe is what I see with this one. And a lot of people can support and help you on your journey. So if you're ready to see what you can do, others are ready to believe in you. And you may actually be able to inspire others to do the same. So really beautiful message. For work and business, Eight of Wands means that it looks like things are looking up. I mean, we've had a tough couple years. Some people have thrived, others have not. Then this period of time, the Eight of Wands reverse shows me an eventual recovery, right? Slow but steady. We can also associate it with August, like month 8. So as we build between April and August, things should start to pick up for you. There should be more and more momentum. For some of you, you're feeling too much pressure. So with Wands, as I've talked about before, you can always decide to do less, but do it better. So move from the Eight of Wands to like the Six of Wands, which is going to bring you more success, or to the Three of Wands or Four of Wands, whatever. And the Four of Wands can be leaning on someone else as well. So figure out how much you want to take on. I'd rather you do less but better, not talking about like reaching for the sky. I'm talking about focusing on something and really putting all of your energy into it. Better to really channel it into one place that matters than to spread yourself thin. Let's expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with the health card, which is mind, body, and spirit. And look what we've got here, karma releasing. Totally what we were talking about in the channel messages with relationships. So even though it's in health and it's not in love, it's still there. This is what's going to be better for you. Move beyond drama. Create your own path. Make room for good energy. Amen. Amen. Saint Germain is fantastic. This is an ascended master that you can work with for the violet, as in the flower or the color, like you're seeing here, the violet flame. So when you're healing yourself, it's so cool because violet flame energy can be used to heal the heart, heal a relationship, heal TMJ. You can kind of pull it in and it works in your body. It also works in your energy. Saint Germain is the ascended master that can help open up the portal to the violet flame. I did an old meditation on it. I should redo it at some point, but you can also find a bunch of other ones on YouTube. There's one on my channel, but there's some other ones out there too. You can work with like an amethyst if you wanted to as well. And I'm wearing, it's more of a maroon, but you can use that color in what you're wearing as well to connect with the violet energy. So move beyond drama. Enough is enough, right? If there are people in your life, like I said, that are trying to get their last word, or they're not listening, or it just feels like there's a constant tug of war, this is karmic, and it's time to release. It's going to make you feel happier and healthier. And it's your divine right to have joy in your life. So if that person's holding you back from it, let it go. Looking at some other messages with health, just based on the cards, you always want to be careful in the Five of Pentacles with either not so much as the Fool. You can trip sometimes if you're not paying attention, but the Five of Pentacles can be like not watching where you're going or being distracted. It's also usually has to do with your legs. So it could be like hips, knees, ankles, or anything that has to do with like the joints of the circulation in your legs. So a great way to make sure that you have health in that lower extremity is just to walk, to swim, to move, to stretch, whatever your doctor, and your body says you can do, right? I think that's going to be super important. Always tune into your body and always make sure that it feels good. So the other thing here with the Five of Pentacles is the emotional constraints that you have with someone else in your life. Like, again, this could be a mother or father. If there's something where they hurt you emotionally or other ways, and you're trying to deal with that drama or that trauma, this is also about disconnecting from that. But in the body, focusing on your legs and your joints and the circulation, again, in those lower extremities. And otherwise, I would say just watching where you're going and making sure that you're not kind of like texting or on the phone, and not like I had a sprained ankle just because I was talking on the phone and I wasn't paying attention to where I was walking. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. We're all susceptible. Otherwise, it looks pretty good, I have to say. So I think that's really the key thing here. Any sort of depression, sadness, or loss in your life obviously needs to be dealt with as well. And realizing that you can live again, love again, and move past that, that'll eventually come through. But the sort of the processing of the grief, I think, is important. Sometimes we hide from grief. We just throw ourselves into work or whatever, right? So this is your chance to not have to hide from that, to sort of embrace it head on and say, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to be all right. All right, so those are your messages for health. For wealth, we have expect wondrous things to emerge, miracles. This was the blank check. That's why it came through. Or the ATM card that's unlimited. I'm trying to keep up with modern metaphors here. So what I like with this is we see sort of like the genie in the lamp. Wish for what you want. Imagine what you can bring into your life. The tarot equivalent is the Two of Wands. You have to see it, then do it. Dream it, then create it. If you dare to dream, great things will happen. If you don't dream, nothing's going to happen. Stagnation, the mushrooms that I saw in the spirit totem for you. So dream and think really, really big, and good things can happen, and you could have a breakthrough. So let's say you've really had some difficulties with perhaps getting ahead at work, getting a promotion, or trying to find a job. Maybe there's been under or unemployment because of the pandemic. Maybe you have been trying to get a hold of a key person that is going to be able to open up some door for you, and all of a sudden they answer. Expect a miracle. Put it out there. I'm not going to accept rejection. There's going to be some way for this to happen. Other messages for wealth. I do think that for some of you, 3 is a crowd here, because we see the 5 of Pentacles, and then the alignment of these people. It's a little difficult here with this. So for some of you, I'm jumping ahead a little bit to love, but this could be an ex that's coming in and causing difficulties. For some of you that are in work, though, this can also just be a third party that's getting in between 2 people that are trying to get the work done. So whether it's an ex-employee, a former friend, or a former partner, it feels like there's something coming through here that could be causing friction. You want to try to get that other person out of the room, or if you can get a mediator to come in and try to make peace, that's important. But it doesn't have to be a situation where that person feels left out or someone's being ignored. Everybody has to sort of come together, and there needs to be some compromises, because the 6 of Pentacles can be a card of compromise. Not this, but this. Not now, but then. And so getting that stuff organized is going to be key. The other thing for wealth, ask for more, revise. So if you're negotiating for a contract of any sort, so like if you're trying to sell your house, you might be able to get a little bit more. If you're trying to buy a house, you might be able to get it for a little less and have more money in your pocket. If you're trying to get a job, shoot for a higher wage than you normally would in the negotiation, and you may be able to get there. And if they say no, say, well, let's go a little bit higher than what you're trying to offer me. Negotiate. There's wiggle room is what I see. And then also look at the fine print and say, hey, how about maybe there's something on your taxes or like a receipt that you just got and you were overcharged, so you could get a refund with that. The Queen of Swords reverses, she's your friend. She's picky, she's detail oriented, and she's gonna get what she wants. So that's the shark coming through saying, we got to fix this. And then if you set your mind to it, there's some cool stuff coming through for you. I see abundance, and I see people that are interested in it. The Eight of Wands can actually be like customers. Eight of Wands, Eight of Cups, it can be return customers, it can be busyness, so that's good, all right? So yeah, good stuff, great stuff actually, in wealth. For those of you that are retired, this could mean like something that brings a sense of joy and abundance. Maybe you want to help someone. I saw that check being written. So if you're at a point where you're feeling philanthropic or you have more to give and you want to help someone, maybe you're going to help a kid go to school in your family or something. So whatever, there's a way of giving back or supporting or being a part of something that's communal, that's bigger than you, okay? Let's look at love and relationships. We have the Angel of Jupiter awaken. You know, this is a really great card for Jupiter. The card was reversed, by the way, but it's okay. I'm going to talk about that in a second. When I tune into the energy of Jupiter, that's the color I see inside the planet is green. I know that we don't see that on the outside, but there's something powerful within it. I don't know, maybe stuff that we can't see because we can't see through the clouds, but I've always seen the color green inside Jupiter. It's powerful and it's abundant and it's a good planet to work with. And so realize this month to not limit yourself. I see Jupiter release and I'm like, or reverse rather, and I'm like, release that sense of feeling like I'm not strong enough, I'm not powerful enough, I can't have this. Jupiter's coming in and saying, yes, you can. And you can have more than that. And we see all these sort of beautiful spirals coming out. When you start to believe that, you start to create abundance in your life. So relationships should bring you that sense of equity as well, like equal planetary energy that you're bringing in. You know, it shouldn't be like Jupiter and Mercury. It should be like, you should be like two gas giants, if you will. The other thing though with this is ego could be playing a part in relationships. That is, Jupiter has a big ego. And with the card reverse, just like if I were to look at the sun reverse, there could be someone that's stepping in that's trying to control, trying to maybe make you shine a little bit less, and that's not cool. You're equal. You're on the same sort of ground as they are. Let's look at some other messages with this. I was mentioning that you might have someone from the past come back into your life, and I see 3 partner cards coming through with the King of Wands, the Queen and King of Wands, and then the Queen of Swords reversed. So I feel like you're going to have to make peace with someone from the past in order to have a better relationship in the future. And this is you, and this is someone from the past. So I do feel like this was a strong bond or a partnership. This new person may not like the person from the past. There could be jealousy, even in friendships. Have you ever noticed that? So maybe you've really gotten closer with someone new and they're jealous of a connection that you've had with someone for a long, long time. And it's like, well, we have history. Don't get jealous over that. You and I have something different. So dealing with delicate sort of emotional things, it's going to be something to focus on, and try not to get in the middle of it. I think that's key. All right, we have the King card here at the end, the Lord. It says, take charge with authority. So you know what? We have like 4 kings, right? Because we have the King of Wands, we have Jupiter, we have the Emperor. So many, many cards here showing you that it's your turn, it's your time. And this one is upright. So are you ready? It's divine masculine, so don't get in your head too much about that. For male, female, non-binary, doesn't matter. This is basically just saying it's your time to really step into power. So if you're ready, some cool stuff awaits you. And I like that he's holding an Ankh here. Whoever designed this, I know it's a Kyle Gray deck, but I forget the illustrator. It's like so many different things here. So we've got the Ankh, then we have sort of a pagan symbol here. This is Celtic. Really cool stuff here. But I see abundance. I see the ability to create great things. It looks like we even have a ram in the background. So anyway, power symbol after power symbol after power symbol. So I'm just basically letting you know that if you're ready, Cancer, this is your month to rise up, to do something really, really cool, and to make a difference. All right. So let's review everything quickly. We'll move along now after this to the soul path, and we'll do that in just a second. I'm going to review and then decide what I want to focus on in the soul path. Okay. So the spirit totem is the shark this month. Big teeth, the ability to rise up. And actually, I'm going to summarize with that. Yeah. So the power here, I saw it as King of Cups, basically. So that's you. That's the ability to do great things and to really use the energy of your heart. Speed, movement, momentum are ever so important this month, so don't lose track of those things. Words carry great weight. Pick your words wisely. Speak when you need to, but don't speak unnecessarily. You know, it's better to just say something when it matters and really kind of make an impact with it than to just talk and talk and talk. Interesting that for some of you, there's this sense of stagnation. So yes, some of you might be like a big fish in a little pond, and it might be time to move up or out. I see a question about, like, can this be related to relationships? Yes, my whole reading can. I just also more broadly stroke this as you. It's about you and parts of your life. I don't read for an hour about your person. I read about you, and we talked a little bit about relationships. This piece could specifically be about relationships for some of you. You could just feel like you're not allowed to grow in this particular relationship at work or with a loved one, because relationships aren't just love. We got to think beyond just who you're with. The relationships go on all spectrums. Spirit showed me the equivalent of an unlimited resource. So a blank check or an ATM card with no limit. And it basically said, what do you need? I gave it a humble answer, and it said, ask for more, think bigger. If we limit ourselves, then we don't know how far we can go. You have to really think big and go for the stretch goal that I was talking about, because you might be pleasantly surprised. Remember, in manifesting, you want to say all of this or more. Let Spirit show you what's possible. I was also shown the Magician, Ace of Cups, and the Devil. And these three cards had different meanings. The Magician is unlimited, and basically you can do anything. I was seeing someone saying that it was only one thing. I really believe you can do anything with it. It is a builder card. It is an imagining card. It's an alchemy card. It's all of it because it has all of the suits. So this is your time to really go into what you want to do and manifest. But sometimes, because you can be a jack of all trades with that, you lose focus. You lack focus. So focus on what matters. Prioritize and program your thoughts and intentions accordingly. The Ace of Cups, love and abundance. Yes. Creative flow. Yes. Stay open-hearted, not just open-minded. For those of you that have been hurt, this is saying, I'm open to being surprised. Maybe this time it will be better. The Devil represents limiting thoughts, fears, and contracts that are no longer suiting you. So be discerning, question, be inquisitive, and basically know that you're going to be able to get to the bottom of anything. But don't accept anything less than the best or less than what you're looking for. Get a good night's rest. Let others do the same. Don't bother them just because you need to talk. Let them get some sleep. Work can wait until morning, as can any key conversations. Everything will be better after you have ample sleep. Apologizing is fantastic. It's wonderful. It's healing. But the timing and the tone really matters. Only say it if you feel it, and don't pressure the other person to accept it. Don't get angry if they don't want to accept it. It's an unconditional gesture. If and when they're ready, they may forgive you. If they're not, you at least went that mile and said, okay, I feel bad about what happened. Avoid needing to get the last word in. And if someone in your life does it, just maybe walk away from that situation. It's not going to, if they have to get the last word in, all you're ever going to do is keep arguing. Let them get it and then maybe move on, because that's not a great energy to be around. You never truly know what someone's dealing with in their life until you ask or listen to them. So before you have any sort of key conversation or any kind of negotiation in your life, you really want to take time to get to know that person and try walking in their shoes or imagining yourself with their situation in order to really be able to be successful. Karmic cycles coming through a soul group of 2 to 3 people, from 3 to 4 lifetimes, I was going to say, it's coming through. this is time to walk away is what I was getting. So I feel like it's okay to let them go. Sometimes we meet a soulmate just to say goodbye, just to heal the karma and say goodbye. It's a chance for all of you to step into new roles. So if you're tired of playing the same old game over, try something different. This is giving you space for something bigger and better to come through. So the forget-me-nots reversed here. This is really saying for some of you, you're trying to bury memories. For some of you, you might be remembering someone that you want to reconnect with. There was also a message here about the eternal energy of the soul, that you shouldn't forget that. It's really remembering who you truly are and connecting with that eternal energy that's going to bring you your power this month in the catalyst. We have the Five of Pentacles at the center. Maybe some people in your life have let you down or made you feel like you were less than. This particular card is reminding you you're much more than that. And what you were eventually able to do is to see the beauty and to find the balance. So that's your growth sort of like trajectory this month. So keep at it. It feels like good things are coming through. Keep your sights set on something higher and brighter. You are magical, because this particular court card is the Queen of Wands can do anything. But this month, she's tethered a bit by the King of Wands and the Queen of Swords, who seem to not be getting along. This can also be different aspects of your own thought process, you being too critical and you maybe overthinking too much. So try to let the flow of energy come through and don't get in your own way. It's time to heal if you're ready. It's like we mentioned, apology is good if you want it, but you have to be ready and willing to give and or receive it. There's a period of growth after you get through this. And there's still an ability to heal and to fix relationships that have moved into spirit. Speak your mind. Fight for things that matter. You might be able to get money back or to get more money on a contract or to save money, etc., etc. Queen of Swords is coming through, even though you would sometimes think that's with Pentacles. She's more looking at the contracts, looking at the fine details, and she's editing and she's saying, no, this, not that. So that's where I think it's a very powerful card for you. We have the Temperance card and then the Two of Wands here. This is being open and willing and ready to dream a little bit and to dare to dream, if you will. Power and opportunity awaits you. You have to step into it. Some of you are afraid to go to that space. What I like with this Emperor, though, is if we look real close, young and old, we see like really, really close. You can see butterflies here, right? So this is a transformation. This could also be passing the baton from young to old. Whatever it is, opportunity awaits you if you're ready to go there. The Eight of Wands is showing me that once you accept your place and your ability to kind of inspire others, really great things can happen and others are going to be drawn to what you have to offer. Karmic cycles are ending. Amen to that. Soulmates are sometimes just people with baggage from the past. So once you identify the baggage, then you don't have to be around them anymore. You can let it go. And every soulmate was at some point in your karmic history, you met them for the first time. So don't limit yourself to soulmates only when it comes to love, even though we're looking at health, because you may meet your future soulmate in this lifetime. I know that sounds kind of like crazy, but why limit yourself to only people that you've known? Isn't that elitist? I think it is. Open yourself up to new people that have a deep connection with you, and maybe you're going to have this fantastic energy because you're starting from a clean slate. Health as well. Watch where you're walking, specifically if you're looking at a phone or a mobile device or your watch or whatever. Focus on the health of your, I would say, joints and like hip, knee, ankle, and leg, and circulation in that space as well. Just making sure that you're taking care of that part of your body. Dream big. Dream it, then do it. Imagine that something great can happen, and it will, but you have to dream it before you do it. That was a common thread, and I've said it a couple times this month. We have Jupiter coming through. Jupiter is very controlling. So in relationships, we want to make sure that you don't have someone tugging at you too much. I think of the moons of Jupiter. There's so many. You want to make sure that there's someone in your life that isn't pulling at you that much. You should both be strong. You should both be in that sort of king energy that we see here with the Lord card, this particular king card, this king card, this king card. There's a lot of strong divine masculine that wants to come through this month. So be willing and ready to step into that position of power, and you'll do something better with it. If you're afraid of repeating the flaws that have happened in the past with people that you respect or whatever, you're a different person. So you can approach that energy in a much different way. Okay. Let's take a look at the soul path now. I want to look at, I usually pull 3 cards here. We'll pull a 4th when I'm done with the meditation. But the first card that I want to help you through is the Three of Swords. What is it in the past that could be hindering or helping growth? Because we're looking at the rows coming through. So what lesson do you need to basically understand in order to heal and get into that amazing abundance that we're seeing, right? Even Jupiter, when I'm looking at it, I associate Jupiter with abundance. So I want you to be strong, powerful, and abundant. So who, what, or whatever, what is it from the past that's coming through that we need to pay attention to? Eight of Cups. So this is someone from the past for some of you. So I want you to look, it feels like it's an open door that either needs to be closed or you need to talk to that person. So Eight of Cups can be an old friend, an old lover, an old acquaintance that you've been thinking about that's been weighing on your mind. It can also be something that you didn't finish. So maybe you want to get your GED. Maybe like me, you took a long time to finish something like my book that I wrote. It took me over a decade, right? Because I was working, because I had life interrupting me as I was trying to get stuff done, but I just kept pushing until I got it done. So what's your Eight of Cups? What's holding you back? What's in the past that could be a regret? You're going to make it, you're going to take the regret and turn it into a goal. Instead of, I wish I could have done that, you're going to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish that. And if it's a relationship, you're going to decide, are we or aren't we? Because it's an open door. So sometimes when you have a breakup, it's a messy breakup and you don't know where you stand and you're kind of fixating on the former partner. So this is a chance to really look at it with discerning eyes, with the Queen of Swords eyes, saying, I don't know, let's really do an audit of where we were. And if I'm just looking at this through rosy glasses or not, and figure out, do I want to reconnect or am I ready to move on? Making and breaking cycles, karma, right? So this is your chance to break and clear old karma and to create positive energy and karma in your life. But you have to look at one thing from the past, whatever comes to mind, that you would think, I wish I had more clarity on it, or I wish I could do it again, or I'm thinking about that person. I can't stop thinking about that person. Forget me not. Whatever it is. Or there's someone that has passed and you're kind of like Seven of Cups moment. They're in your head a lot. So whatever it is, give it some thought this month and embrace it or release it. In one shape or form, you're kind of at the sort of fork in the road. You're not going to keep going in this cycle. You're going to choose to go down one path or another. All right. Let's take a look at, as I'm looking at all of these relationships, the king, the queen, the two queens kind of causing trouble here. So I want to see what's going on. I would say, how can you have a less dramatic, a less cluttered relationship experience over the course of April? All right, and a card just flew out of the deck. We got the High Priestess. I'm going to pull another card on top of that, though, because that's like our bonus. And I got the Four of Wands. All right, so friendship. This is friendship. And this is devoted, like this is devotion, monogamy, trust, platonic even for some of you. Like there's just someone, I think it needs to start with friendship. And you really want to spend time with friends above all else this month. Maybe there's a friend that can become a lover, but the most important thing here is that the friendship has to be phase one, stage one, and the most important thing. And if someone's trying to come between you and your friend this month, then that's something to be discerning about. We have the High Priestess here, which is calling this in. So if you're lonely, who hasn't been a little lonely over the past year, right? A lot of us miss being able to connect with other people, to date other people. She's saying, yep, let's do it. And I know a lot of us miss being able to travel. We're still too early for all of that, but you can start the manifestation process of bringing in that new energy, that new friendship, that new, even that new tribe that I was looking at with the Eight of Wands, right? So anyway, and for those of you that do have pets, this can be a cat, a dog, or some other exotic animal, but that's also your friend. So remember, you're not alone. As I look at Apollo over my shoulder. All right, let's pull one wild card, and then I'll answer a special question at the end, and we'll talk about that in a second, but wild card first. So for the wild card, we have the Hanged Man. Interesting, too, how both of these are showing the old-fashioned airplane, right? So a lot of us have been stuck in the Hanged Man for the past couple of years, right? And it just sort of feels like things have been topsy-turvy. The interesting thing with this is I see the toolbox here and the ability to get back to something better, something even like you have what it takes to rebuild. And I think that a lot of us in the past couple of years have been forced to sit still. The mythology behind the Hanged Man, it's based on Odin, right? He wantingly wanted to sit upside down and gain knowledge, right? So sometimes a pause, he lost his eye too for being able to see the future or whatever. So sometimes we sacrifice time or an opportunity so that we can get a little bit more clear on what we need. So you lose something to gain something. So I feel like we've lost some time, some connection, some ability to travel, but we've done a sort of inward journey. So sometimes when you go from country to country to country, what are you trying to do? Find yourself, right? So what have you gotten to do over the past year? Know yourself, find yourself, possibly even see things that you don't like about yourself. But all of that's going to make you stronger and more powerful when it's time to get out again in the world, because you won't be seeking yourself. You'll be celebrating yourself. So you don't need to travel the world to find yourself. You're right here. Look within. We see mirrors of ourselves and other people, and I think that's what we miss a little bit collectively. But the gift in this is that you got to know who you are, and you got to know where you want to go and why you're going there. Okay? So there you go. Let's talk a little bit about the next couple things that I'll be doing. I've added something new this month that I'm trying out. So what I'd like you to do as we go into the meditation is to think of something in your life, maybe a blessing or a block that I didn't have a chance to immediately call out in all the cards today or specifically call out. And whatever that blessing or block is, hold it in your heart, in your meditation, and then kind of let it fly away like a butterfly as we meditate. And then at the end, I'll pull a card and give you some insight on what the universe wants you to know about that. You don't have to ask it in chat. Just think about your question, or if you don't know, just say, send me a message. And so I'll give you like a message in a bottle here at the end. We're going to meditate in a moment. Before we meditate, just a couple of quick notes. If you would like to follow me on social media, I'd love you to do so, because I know sometimes not everybody gets all of the reminders here on YouTube. So my social media handle really across most platforms is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And I use the story features in Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and yeah, those are the main ones that I'll use it in. Twitter, I will also use the fleet and I will send out tweets, but I have a different username there. It's Ashbaugh. So feel free to follow me if you'd like to. Goodreads is a great way to learn more about my book. I'll talk about that after we meditate. And Patreon is a great way on a monthly basis to give back, or you can click the join button here. So those are some great ways to connect with me if you would like to. And again, if you enjoy the meditation, if you enjoy what you see, you can also give back a little bit with either a super chat or an applause later. Okay, let's move into the meditation. One last thing, because when we come out of meditation, we're like a little out there. Please, 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 if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. And just know that when you comment, when you like, when you share, all of that engagement, as YouTube calls it, helps people with discovery. They can find it when you do that. So it's a great way to say thank you and help me without having to do anything monetary. Okay, let's meditate. As I'm looking at all of these cards today, what I want to help you focus on is this recovery, like I said, with the Three of Swords. And also stepping into your power. So if I had to pick two themes of what I'm seeing here, there's this feeling like I can step into my divine right. I'm ready for that blank check, but I need to get over some of the sadness or some of the people in the past that have made me feel less than. So we're going to walk towards our divine throne, if you will, or whatever. Basically, you're stepping towards your opportunity, but we have to kind of go through some of the karmic relationships on this. So we're going to do a mini contract release. The way we're going to do it is just imagining that you're walking through a trail or something like in the forest, and you could see the people from the past as you're going to walk by, bless them, apologize, or whatever it is that you want to do, and then just see them kind of fade. And then we're going to walk through the light, and at the other end is going to be this, it's like the end of the rainbow. There'll be this throne where you could be. So I want to get you past the old karmic relationships and walk you into your power. And then we're going to pull one more card at the end to see what I can do for you, like your message in the bottle. So if there's a question or a thought that you've had that I haven't answered yet, think about it. And then I'll pull an extra card at the end. So close your eyes now. See yourself in a magical forest, and to the right and to the left of you, you see kind of like a procession of souls of people, past and present, in this life and in others. And the interesting thing is they can't come past the road that you're traveling on. This is a magical road. So this is spirit. You're kind of walking in this special realm where you can see spirits in the past and also even connections here in the present. And you have a chance to clean the energetic karma between you and between them. You can see fireflies, you can see the trees, but the spirits can't come past this road. The road is almost illuminated. It's like it's lit up from within, this beautiful, brilliant gold light as you're walking on top of it, and you see the spirits to the right and to the left. I want you to walk, and as you're walking down this golden road towards the portal of light where you're going to step through into your power, as you walk down this golden path, I want you to wait until you see someone or a situation in the past that you feel a karmic connection to. Pause there and look through this veil. You're looking through the veil, basically. And with the safety of this golden energy beneath you, with this magic sort of force field between you and that other person, you're free to say what you need to say, and you're free to release the connection between them. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath and feel the the golden energy from the path wrapping itself around you, also adding an extra layer of protection. Exhale. See the person in front of you. And if you want to, imagine that you could hold your hands out towards them and you could touch the hands. Otherwise, you could hold your hand on your heart and you could just look them eye to eye. And you're going to do an energetic exchange. As you take your next breath, you're going to call back your power. Call back any sense of anything that they took from you or that you gave unknowingly to them. So the first inhale will be reclaiming your power. So breathe in. Hold that, integrate that for a moment. Be grateful. Think of a grateful thought. Thank you for letting me reclaim my power. And on the exhale, give them back the stuff that you don't want anymore. Either if you took power from them or the garbage that they gave to you, say, thank you for that lesson. I don't need it anymore. We're going to breathe a couple of times. Inhale will be reclamation. Exhale will be returning, giving back. And in a way that is nice, not like this is garbage, you can take it. Just like, I don't need this anymore, take it back. And do this repeatedly as I'm playing this singing bowl until you feel clear and clean, until both of you are golden light. And then see that they just fade away. You don't even have a cord to cut because you've basically blessed that energetic exchange. And you can say in your mind, I love you, I release you, and in releasing you, I free us both. I release the contracts, past, present. I release any debts, any promises. All our debts are forgiven. All contracts are null and void. I'm ready to move on, and you should be too. And when you're ready, you can even walk towards the light, even if I'm still playing the singing bowl. But breathe and release, and then start walking towards the light. And I'll play this for a minute or so. And at that point, we will wrap it up, and then I'll look at that extra card. All right. So breathing in, reclaiming, exhaling, returning, seeing the light within both of you return, feeling like this is basically like the scales. You're both going to be equal as we do this. If you haven't already done so, take your final inhale and exhale. begin walking towards this luminous portal in front of you and see beautiful, brilliant shades. It's all the colors of the rainbow. So we're walking from this golden road towards a spectrum of light. And as you step through this gateway or this portal, you see basically it's your own throne if you'd like to. This is a place where you're going to be able to dream, to imagine, to be the Two of Wands, to be the Queen of Wands, to be able to start to allow things to come in. So step towards that place that you've earned, step up onto the platform, feel that the rainbow of light is now shining right towards your heart, and be ready to receive and be ready to answer the question that the universe was asking you when I was meditating, which is, what do you want? How much? Where do you see yourself? How do you value yourself? And don't limit your answer. When you're ready, you can take your hands, rub them together. Let's seal off the heart space with love and with gratitude. We release those in the past that we no longer need. We celebrate our collective and individual power, and we look forward to what the future brings. Always look forward to the future. Just like the Queen of Wands was here, keeping an eye towards something bigger, something brighter, something better. One final card to wrap up the reading, an answer to whatever personal question that you might have. We have the Seven of Cups, and this is really cool, actually. This is a dreamer's card, and we finally see the airplane taking flight. We've sort of seen a story of the airplane crashing and us being stuck on it and all this other stuff, and now the airplane is taking flight. So dream it, keep dreaming, keep thinking about the good stuff, because that's what's nice with the Seven of Cups. I'm not going to caveat anything with this. I would say don't limit, explore all opportunities. And then eventually know this, you will have to just go with what your heart feels. Because when we look at a bunch of things on paper, we look at reviews and we try to ask people what they think, no one can tell you what to do. You're going to have to just go for what feels right. We see the friendship there too. So remember that you are not alone. You definitely have friends and loved ones that care about you. And it feels like there's a strong friendship in the future for some of you too. Someone may be thinking about you. This is the card of longing, of thinking, of reaching cross distances. So you can do that as well. Anyway, great things await. Keep thinking and keep reaching higher. I'm looking if there's any other messages with that. One last thing that I'm looking at here is that he's taking time to ground himself. He's kind of holding on to the grass or to the ground for a second. So I know it's kind of an interesting separation there, but being able to both be grounded and then also go higher, that's what's important with intuitive development. So in meditation and in anything you do, ground yourself in your purpose, ground yourself in your power, and then open up to the possibilities. And then that way you're not just sort of like tumbleweed going any which way. All right, let's wrap up. I know we're just about at time, so I appreciate everyone sticking around. Again, thanks and gratitude to anyone that hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. That helps more than you know. You can always go to my website for information about upcoming readings, including the collective one that's on the 28th. Applaud is something that you can do on desktop or Android devices afterwards. While I'm talking, you can still do a super chat if you would like to. Thank you in advance for anybody that has already done that. It makes a big impact here. Same thing with memberships and clicking the join button. And if you would like to follow me on social media, we put those links up earlier. But again, it's at an Ashbaugh on Twitter, but at Nicholas Ashbaugh on most other social media networks. And finally, if you're interested in science fiction and fantasy, you could check out my book. It's called The Luminous Ones, and it's available in paperback and hardcover internationally. And again, it's sort of like Lord of the Rings and Dune and that sort of realm. Like it's a little bit of a read, but it's good for people that enjoy something a little bit meatier like that. And definitely has a lot of intuitive development information, but it's sci-fi and fantasy. It's not nonfiction. So thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. It felt magical to me. There was a lot that came through, and I'm surprised I was able to get it done in an hour and a half. So everyone, take care of yourselves. I'll be back tomorrow. So I'll be reading for Leo next, and then I'll be back Sunday and Monday as well. So you can check the whole schedule on my website. In the meantime, love and light to you now and always. Have a fantastic rest of this month, a fantastic April, and a good weekend. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks to my moderators, too.